So lost. His hands were scraped and throbbing, his trouser knees torn and damp. With blood? There had been crawl spaces and ducts, hadn't there? Yes, what had seemed like kilometers of them, too. And more ordinary utility tunnels lit by ceiling tubes and not lined with centuries of mortality. His weary legs stumbled, and he stopped, once more to be sure of his balance. He wished fiercely for his cane, gone astray in the scuffle earlier. How many hours ago now? He could be using it like a blind man on old Earth or Barrayar's own time of isolation, tapping in front of his feet for those so vividly imagined gaps in the floor. His would-be kidnappers hadn't roughed him up too badly in the botched snatch, relying instead on a hypospray of sedative to keep their captive under control. Too bad it had been in the same class of sedatives to which Miles was violently allergic, or even, judging by his present symptoms, the identical drug. Expecting a drowsy dead weight, they'd instead found themselves struggling with a maniacal little screaming man. This suggested his snatchers hadn't known everything about him, a somewhat reassuring thought. Or even anything about him. You bastards are on the top of Imperial Lord Auditor Miles Vorkosigan's very own shit list now, you bet. But under what name? Only 5 days on this benighted world, and already total strangers are trying to kill me. Sadly, it wasn't even a record. He wished he knew who they'd been. He wished he were back home in the Barrayaran Empire, where the dread title of Imperial Auditor actually meant something to people. I wish those wretched angels would stop shrieking at me. Flights of angels, he muttered an experimental incantation, sing me to my rest. The angels declined to form up into a ball like a will-o'-the-wisp and lead him onward out of this place. So much for his dim hope that his subconscious had been keeping track of his direction while the rest of his mind was out, and would now produce some neat inspiration in dramatic form. Onward, 1 foot in front of the other, wasn't that the grown-up way of solving problems? Surely he ought to be a grown-up at his age. He wondered if he was going in circles. His trailing hand wavered through black air across a narrow cross corridor made for access to the bank's supporting machinery, which he ignored. Later, another. He'd been suckered into exploring down too many of those already, which was part of how he'd got so hideously turned around. Go straight, or, if his corridor dead-ended, right as much as possible. That was his new rule. But then his bumping fingers crossed something that was not a bank of cryo drawers, and he stopped abruptly. He felt around without turning, because turning, he'd discovered, destroyed what little orientation he still possessed. Yes, a door. If only it wasn't another utility closet. If only it was unlocked for a change. Unlocked? Yes, Miles hissed through his teeth and pulled. Hinges creaked with corrosion. It seemed to weigh a ton, but the bloody thing moved. He stuck an experimental foot through the gap and felt around. A floor, not a drop, if his senses weren't lying again. He had nothing with which to prop open the door. He hoped he might find it again if this proved another dead end. Carefully, he knelt on all fours and eased through, feeling in front of him. Not another closet. Stairs. Emergency stairs. He seemed to be on a landing in front of the door. To his right, steps went up, cool and gritty under his sore hand. To his left, down. Which way? He had to run out of up sooner, surely. It was probably a delusion, if a powerful one, that he might go down forever. This maze could not descend to the planet's magma, after all. The heat would thaw the dead. There was a railing, not too wobbly, but he started up on all fours anyway, patting each riser to be sure the step was all there before trusting his weight to it. A reversal of direction, more painful climbing. Another turning at another landing. He tried its door, which was also unlocked, but did not enter it. Not unless or until he ran out of stairs would he let himself be forced back in there with those endless ranks of corpses. He tried to keep count of the flights, but lost track after a few turnings. He heard himself whimpering under his breath in time with the angel ululations and forced himself to silence. Oh, God, was that a faint gray glow overhead? Real light or just another mirage? He knew it for real light when he saw the pale glimmer of his hands, the white ghosts of his shirt sleeves. He hadn't become disembodied in the dark after all. On the next landing, he found a door with a real window, a dirty square pane as wide as his...